Words that end in A-R-Y in English end in ario in Portuguese. A, acute accent, R-I-O. And that final O, again, is pronounced U. So, ario. And a bit later on, I'll explain the reasons for when we have accents in Portuguese and when we don't. The rules are very logical for putting accents on letters in Portuguese. How would you say necessary in Portuguese, given that that ARY ending becomes ario?
Necessário.
Necessário.
How did we say I don't want it?
Não o quero.
Não o quero.
So how would you say it's not necessary for me now because I don't want it?
Não é necessário. Não.
For me now.
Não é necessário para mim agora.
Because I don't want it.
Porque não o quero. Não é quero.
Right. And how do you say because?
Porque.
But it's not stressed. So it's porque.
Porque.
Não o quero.
Porque. So can I say that again?
Please do.
Can you give me the sentence?
It is not necessary for me now because I don't want it.
Não é necessário para mim agora porque não o quero.
How do you say not?
Não o quero.
Good.
Não é necessário para mim agora porque não o quero.
So how would you say contrary in Portuguese?
Contrário.
Contrário.
And vocabulary?
Vocabulário.
Did I hear a bu in the middle? Because in English we say vocabulary because
Right.
bu is bu, but in Portuguese bu is bu.
Vocabulário.
Vocabulário.
So again, that first O isn't stressed, so it sounds u.
The northern again, I think, coming out.
Vocabulário. The Portuguese for I need is preciso de. Preciso de. Preciso is written P-R-E-C-I-S-O. And of course it's related to the English word precise. So what you're actually saying here is I precise of. And a way to remember that would be to say, I know precisely what I need because I've got it written on this list. So, preciso de, I need, I precise of, I know precisely what I need. Preciso de. So, de means of. Now, if you want to say, I need it, you're going to have to say, I precise of it. And the it in this sentence combination is ele. It's not u anymore because we're going to put a de in front of it. And de plus u, do, means something else. So we had two meanings for u, one of which was
It.
and the other meaning of u, as in o senhor, is...
You.
O senhor means you, but the u on its own,
The.
in the, exactly. So, do means
Of the.
of the. So if we put the with u, it means of the. So we need a different way of saying of it. So we say, we put together de and ele, E-L-E, which means him or it if it's a masculine thing. So I need it, preciso dele. And that dele is two words, de and ele, put together, D-E-L-E. So how would you say I need it?
Preciso dele.
Preciso dele.
How would you say I don't need it?
No.
Now.
Do you have to have the
Okay.
it at the beginning?
Good question. Well, we haven't got it anymore. It's of it, and it's
Right.
all one word. So it goes after the verb. Good question.
Okay. So, now preciso delle.
Dele.
Della.
Okay.
Della.
Não preciso dele.
Della.
Dele.
We need some help with that. Dele.
Dele. Dele. Le.
Della.
Dele.
Della.
Yeah.
Della.
Yeah.
Dele.
Dele.
How would you say I don't have it and I don't need it?
Não tenho. Não tenho.
And I haven't told you and, which is E. It's written with a letter E, and it's pronounced E.
So I don't have it and I don't need it. Não tenho e não preciso dela. Não preciso dela.
Não o tenho e não preciso dele.
I don't need it, and I don't want it.
Não preciso dele e não tenho.
I don't want it.
Não preciso dele e não quero o.
Right. Now, what happens with the now? What does it do to the position of the it?
Não o quero.
Good.
Não preciso dele e não o quero.
I don't need it now.
Não preciso dele agora.
Não preciso dele agora.
And how would you say, I don't need it today?
Não preciso dele hoje.
Hoje. Good. Hoje. Hoje. Hoje.
Não preciso dele hoje.
The Portuguese for to see is ver. V-E-R. It's related to Latin words like video, I see. How would you say, I don't want it?
Não o quero.
Right. And how would you say, I don't want to see it? So you're going to stick with the I don't want it that you've just told me and just put to see on the end.
Não o quero ver.
Good. I don't want it and then I don't want to see it.
Yeah. Não o quero. Não o quero ver.
How did we say you don't want it?
Não o ten.
Want.
Oh, sorry. Não quer.
Não o quero.
How would you say you don't want to see it?
Não quer ver.
Não o quero ver.
And I'll turn that into a question. Don't you want to see it?
Não o quero ver.
Não o quero ver.
And how would you say, why don't you want to see it? Why is it that you don't want to see it?
Por que não quero ver?
I heard quero, which means I want.
Oh.
It's words in English that end in ence and ants, E-N-C-E and A-N-C-E, end in encia, E circumflex N-C-I-A, or ensa, E-N-C cedilla. So that's a C with a tail on it. It sounds S, C cedilla, A, for the E-N-C-E words, or ansia, A circumflex N-C-I-A, for the A-N-C-E words. And these are nasal sounds, ansia, ansa, ansia. And the stress again is on the second to last syllable. So how would you say importance?
Importância.
Importância.
And influence?
Influência.
Good.
Influência.
Difference. Do you remember there was one I said was ensa
Ensa.
and not ensia? And difference is that one. So how do you say difference?
Diferença.
Diferença.
How would you say the difference? Difference, diferença, is a feminine word. Most Portuguese words ending in the letter A are feminine, and most words ending in the letter O are masculine. Now, we do know how to say the masculine and feminine words for the, because we've been using them in o senhor and a senhora, you. So how do you say the difference?
A diferença.
A diferença.
Now, the Portuguese for a, in the sense of a difference, is there a difference, is uma, U-M-A. Now, this is a for a feminine word. A for a masculine word is different, and we'll come to that another time. So how would you say a difference?
Uma diferença.
It's diferença, I'm afraid. It's not a cia word, it's
Oh, sorry, that was the exception.
Yes, I'm afraid so.
Uma diferença.
Uma diferença.
How would you say the preference?
Still a feminine word.
It ends in A, yeah.
Yeah.
So it's a feminine word.
Una preferencia.
Uma.
Uma.
Mhm.
Uma preferencia.
Uma preferência.
How did we say you have?
Ten.
How would you say, do you have a preference?
Ten uma preferencia.
Tem uma preferência?
What does the word porquê, meaning why, what does it literally mean?
For what?
So how do we say what?
Que.
Que, right. Now, not what in the sense of what do you want, because that was the what do you want, which was
O que.
right. The what that we're going to have now is the what that you put in front of another word. So, what preference. And that is just que on its own. So how would you say, what preference do you have?
Que preferência tem?
Good.
Que preferência tem?
And in Portuguese, when you say, do you have a preference, you can actually leave out the a. So you would say, do you have preference?
Ten preferencia.
Yeah, and I want tem. It's a nasal sound, yeah.
Ten preferencia.
Tem preferência?
How did we say for what in the sense of why?
Por quê?
Right. And that also, porque, is how you would say for what in the sense of for what restaurant, for example. So how would you say, for what restaurant do you have a preference?
Por que restaurante tem
Tem.
preferência?
Por que restaurante tem preferência?
Tonight is esta noite. Esta noite. Esta means this, and noite means night, and it's related to words like nocturnal. The C of nocturnal has changed into an I in Portuguese. Noite. So how do you say tonight?
Esta noite.
Esta noite.
How would you say it is for tonight?
É para esta noite.
É para esta noite.
So how would you say, for what restaurant do you have a preference tonight?
Por que restaurante tem preferência para esta noite?
Tonight, not for tonight. So try again. For what restaurant do you have a preference tonight?
Por que restaurante tem preferência esta noite?
Por que restaurante tem preferência esta noite?
The Portuguese for where is onde. Onde. O-N-D-E. And I could relate it in this way. Your Dutch friends are where? Onder the table. Onder, where? Onder the table. So how would you say, where do you want to eat?
Onde quer
Yeah?
comer?
Comer. It's the single R. Comer.
Onde quer comer?
Say quer for me again.
Quer.
That's the sound I want at the end of comer.
Onde quer comer?
Good.
Onde quer comer?
And there's actually another word for to dine, which is jantar. Jantar. And you can think of having dinner with the janitor. Jantar. So how would you say, where do you want to have dinner? Where do you want to dine tonight?
Onde quer jantar esta noite?
Onde quer jantar esta noite?
How would you say, do you want to dine tonight?
Quer juntar.
Jantar.
Quer jantar esta noite?
Quer jantar esta noite?
Words in English that end in tion, shun, end in são in Portuguese. And this is written C cedilla, so that's a C with a tail on it to make the C into a S sound, because otherwise a C is generally a K sound. A with a til, A with a squiggle over the top to make it nasal. O. São. So can you say that sound for me?
São.
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 Say it through your nose at the end of the sound. São.
São.
That's it.
São.
São.
Now, that ending, são, is always stressed in Portuguese. And it's quite useful because there are many, many words, a good 1,000, 1,200, 1,500 words that are the same in English and Portuguese that end in shun in English and são in Portuguese. For example, how would you say condition?
Condição.
Condição. So you're going to put the stress on the são.
Condição.
Condição.
How would you say position? Now, interestingly, that S in Portuguese will sound Z just as it does in English because it's between two vowels.
Posição.
Posição.
How would you say nation?
Nação.
Stress the last syllable.
Nação.
Nação.
The T changes to an S in nation.
It's a C cedilla, actually. All these words that I'm teaching you now that end in shun in English end in são in Portuguese. And it gives you access to thousands of words, literally.
Of course, it's the T-I-O-N.
Nation, nação. Situation,
Situação.
Situação.
organisation,
Organização. Organização.
Good. You've got to think it out in English
Yeah.
first. Yeah.
Organização.
Now, sadly, the word reservation is an exception. And instead of being reservação, it's reserva. Reserva. So it's like reserve. So how would you say the reservation?
Uma reserva.
The.
Oh. A reserva.
Right.
A reserva.
And you know from a senhora, meaning the lady. A good way of remembering it is actually it's the opposite of the English. The English is uma in Portuguese, and you've muddled the uma and the because in Portuguese sounds like it should mean in English as well, and it doesn't. So let's have these both now. A reservation and then the reservation.
Uma reserva. A reserva.
Good.
Uma reserva. A reserva.
How do you say, do you have a reservation for me?
Saber. Something saber.
Saber is to know. What's I have?
Tenho.
And you have?
Tem.
Right. Do you have a reservation for me?
Tem uma reserva
For me?
para mim.
And make it a question.
Tem uma reserva para mim?
Tem uma reserva para mim?
How would you say, do you have a reservation for me for tonight?
Tem uma reserva para mim para esta noite.
Tem uma reserva.
Tem uma reserva para mim para esta noite.
Tem uma reserva para mim para esta noite?
How would you say, I have a reservation for you for tonight, talking to a man?
Tenho uma reserva per o senhor per esta noite.
How are you saying for?
Pera.
Right. So please
Pera.
take it again.
Can I have that English again?
Yeah. I have a reservation for you for tonight, talking to a man.
Tenho uma reserva para o senhor para esta noite.
Tenho uma reserva para o senhor para esta noite.
How did you say I need it?
Preciso dele.
Right. And how are you going to say that O at the end of I need?
Preciso.
Preciso.
Preciso dele.
Preciso dele.
So how did we say of it? In that sentence. I need it. I need of it. I precise of it.
Dele.
Good. So, how do we say of?
Dele.
No, de and elle are the two separate words, of it. So the of bit on its own is de. Okay. Now, the reservation is...
A reserva.
Well corrected.
A reserva.
Now, in order to say, I need the reservation, you're going to have to say, I precise of the reservation. So how do you think you say of the in this situation? What two words are you going to squash together to make of the?
Duma.
That would be of a reservation, which is excellent as well.
Da.
And the would be what?
Of the.
Good. So we were able to make two sentences now out of these. So how would you say of the reservation?
Da reserva.
Da reserva.
And how would you say of a reservation?
Duma reserva.
Duma reserva.
And what we're building up to is to be able to say, I need a reservation or I need the reservation, because in Portuguese you have to say, I precise of a.
Was it precisar?
Preciso. I need. Preciso de. So I need it in Portuguese is I precise of it. Preciso dele. Which was why we were having to say of a reservation or of the reservation. Yeah. So how would you say, I need a reservation?
Preciso de uma reserva.
Preciso de uma reserva.
And how would you say, I need the reservation?
Preciso da reserva.
Preciso da reserva.
How would you say, I need a reservation tonight?
Preciso de uma reserva esta noite.
Preciso de uma reserva esta noite.
How would you say the confirmation of the reservation?
A confirmação de uma reserva.
Of the reservation.
Oh, sorry. Uma confirmação da reserva.
Right, you've just said a confirmation of the reservation.
Right.
The confirmation of the reservation.
A confirmação da reserva.
Good. Now, confirmação, because confirmation is written with IR,
yeah.
And similarly in Portuguese, and IR in Portuguese isn't pronounced as in English, it's pronounced ir. You pronounce I and then r. So, a confirmação.
Confirmação.
Good. So, the confirmation of the reservation.
A confirmação da reserva.
A confirmação da reserva.
So how would you say, do you have the confirmation of the reservation for me for tonight? Do you have the confirmation?
Tem uma reserva, uma confirmação.
Right, that would be, do you have a confirmation? I want, do you have the confirmation?
Tem a confirmação
Of the reservation
da reserva
for me
para mim
for tonight.
para esta noite.
Tem a confirmação da reserva para mim para esta noite?
Do you want to say it all in one? So, do you have the confirmation of the reservation for me for tonight?
Tem a reserva, tem a confirmação a reserva
Of the reservation
da reserva para mim esta noite.
for tonight.
Para esta noite. There's two paras and two as.
There are two paras and there are two as, and one of the as has been squashed together with
A D
the.
apostrophe.
Not a D apostrophe, it's actually written as one word, just DA. But yes, so we've got two as, a confirmação, and a reserva, the confirmation, the reservation, but it's of the reservation, so it's the reserva. So a confirmação, the reserva, and then for me, para mim, for tonight, para esta noite.
Tem a confirmação da reserva para mim para esta noite?
How would you say, I need a reservation?
Preciso de uma reserva.
Preciso de uma reserva.
The Portuguese for kind or type, so as in what type of reservation we're going to come to in a minute, is tipo, tipo, T-I-P-O, tipo. So how would you say what kind of?
Que tipo
Of.
de
But the E in k and d are not stressed, so we don't want e, we don't want que, we want k and d.
que tipo de
D, more like d.
que tipo de
Que tipo de?
So, how would you say, what type of reservation do you have for me for tonight?
Que tipo de reserva tem para mim per esta noite?
That's really good, but do watch out for those unstressed E's. It's not e.
Que tipo de reserva tem para mim para esta noite?
What type of reservation do you want?
que tipo de reserva
You want.
quer
Right. Watch that your E's aren't too e. So, que tipo de reserva quer?
que tipo de reserva quer
Que tipo de reserva quer?
Because what's happening is you're spelling the word in your head before you're saying it, and you're thinking, oh, it's an E, I've got to say que, but it's unstressed, so it's que. There are some T-I-O-N words in English that obviously end in são in Portuguese, but they don't work exactly as you would expect. So, for example, explanation isn't explanação, it's explicação, explication, and translation isn't translação, it's tradução. So, translation is more like a traduction, okay? So how would you say, I need a translation?
Preciso de uma tradução.
Preciso de uma tradução.
How would you say, can you do a translation for me?
tenho
What does tenho mean?
have
Right, so can you? What was I can?
posso pode pode
Do.
fazer uma tradução para mim.
There's a U in tradução.
Pode fazer uma tradução para mim.
Pode fazer uma tradução para mim?
What does will mean in English when you say, for example, I will go there?
I'm going to go there.
Does it give you any sense of a time frame?
Yeah.
You just in the future. It's a future tense.
It's
so you're
an
expecting-
intention.
Right, future
you're
tense.
not saying when you're going to go there. You're just saying sometime in the future.
Right,
Yeah.
future tense, I will go. But when you say, will you do something for me, is that still a future intention? Will you do it for me?
No, it's a request.
Right, exactly. It's a polite request. And in this situation, in Portuguese, we can use this pode, can you? Pode. So the sentence that you just translated for us, pode fazer uma tradução para mim, means more than can you. It means would you be so kind as to. Okay? I mean, you can translate it by can you, but essentially it's a polite request. Let's have that one again. Will you make a translation for me? Will you do a translation for me?
Pode fazer uma tradução para mim.
How do you say a?
Uma.
Right, I thought I heard una for a minute.
All right. So, pode fazer uma tradução para mim.
And make it into a question?
Pode fazer uma tradução para mim.
Pode fazer uma tradução para mim?
And there you'll see Paulo said pod. So you could just hear the E at the end of pod. We know it's there because it's the U form, pod, but it's just tailed off a little bit. The Portuguese for please is for favour, por favor, for favour. So how would you say, will you do a translation for me, please?
Pode fazer uma tradução para mim, por favor?
And how did you say
Uma.
Right. I heard una.
I did. I did it again.
Please.
Pode fazer uma tradução para mim, por favor?
Pode fazer uma tradução para mim, por favor?
How did we say to do it?
Fazê-lo.
Fazê-lo. Tradução, is that masculine or feminine? The sound ending, and is it a or u? Is it a confirmação or u confirmação?
Feminine.
Right, a. So, what do you think happens to fazê-lo if you're now referring to a translation, a tradução?
Fazê-la.
Right, fazê-la. So how would you say, referring to the translation, will you do it for me today?
Pode fazê-la para mim hoje.
Pode fazê-la para mim hoje?
Now, explanation is an explication in Portuguese, and that gives us the chance to talk about the pronunciation of the letter X, which actually has many pronunciations depending on its situation. But in this particular situation, how does it sound, Paulo?
Explicação.
So the effect of that X there is to make the E into A. Explicação.
Yes. And the X is not X, like for instance, we would say o meu ex, meaning my ex-partner. For instance, we would say X in the same way it's pronounced in English.
But in this word,
In this
explanation,
Ex, there's a sh sound to it.
explicação. So how would you say, I want an explanation?
Quero uma explicação.
Quero uma explicação.
How would you say, I want an explanation?
Quero uma explicação. Explicação.
Explicação.
Explicação.
Explicação. quero uma explicação.
The Portuguese for to give is dar, D-A-R, and the English word donate and data come from the same Latin root, dar. So how would you say, will you, a polite request, will you give an explanation, please?
Pode dar uma explicação, por favor.
How do we say the shun ending in Portuguese?
São.
São, not zão.
São.
So again,
Pode dar uma explicação, por favor?
Pode dar uma explicação, por favor?
verbs that come from nouns that are similar in English and Portuguese will also be similar. To make the verb in Portuguese, you just add AR to the English verb. This sounds a bit abstract, but I'll explain it to you. For example, formation is a shun word, so what would that be in Portuguese?
Formação.
Formação. Now, formation, formação, obviously they're the same word. Now we can turn formation into a verb in English, form. And to make the Portuguese equivalent, you just add AR to the English verb. Okay, so how would you say to form in Portuguese?
Formar.
Okay, so formation and to form.
Formação. Formar.
Formação, formar. What is confirmation in Portuguese?
Conformação.
It's got IR in the middle, so
Confirmação.
right. So how would you say to confirm?
Confirmar.
Good. So confirmation and confirm.
Confirmação. Confirmar.
So that gives you access to a whole set of verbs that you can just pluck out of the English and drop straight into the Portuguese. Now, the whole form of a verb, the technical name is the infinitive, the to form, like we just did, to confirm, to form, we've had to eat, to see. In English, it's expressed with the to. In Portuguese, as I said before, this to form of the verb always ends in an R. Now, in Portuguese, there can be 4 different letters before the R to make it the to form of the verb. You can have AR, ER, IR, or even OR verbs in Portuguese. So you've got 4 groups. But we're going to ignore the OR verbs for the time being because there aren't very many of them. And when we come to work on the verbs, we'll just put them into 2 groups, AR and not AR groups. So it sounds like there's a lot, but we're going to cut them back. So we've just had some verbs that end in AR. How did you say to form?
Formar.
And how did you say to confirm?
Confirmar.
To dine is another AR verb. How did we say to dine? To dine with the janitor?
Jantar.
Jantar. To dine with the janitor. So how would you say, where do you want to dine tonight?
Onde quer jantar.
Jantar.
Jantar
Tonight.
esta noite.
Onde quer jantar esta noite?
Right, so those are AR verbs. Another good AR verb is falar, which means to speak. It's from the Latin fabulare, and our word fable comes from the same root. So the idea is if you speak, you're telling a fable. We had an ER verb, for example, the verb for to eat. Comestible is related to it. Comer.
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 Where's the one I can't do?
But you have got that R because you say it at the end of you want. Quer. So say you want.
Quer.
Right. And now say to eat.
Comer.
Comer. Good. An example of an IR verb is sair, to go out. Sair. S-A-I-R. Sair. Now, these words, because they end in R, they are automatically stressed on the last syllable. So all verbs are stressed on the last syllable. How would you say, I want to eat now?
Quero comer agora.
Right, and that sound at the end of comer, it's like your sound at the end of quer, you want.
Quero comer agora.
Quero comer agora.
Right, now to go out or to leave is sair, S-A-I-R, sair. And you may have seen the sign at the airport in Portugal which says saída, S-A-I with an accent, D-A. That means departure because it's people going out or leaving. So sair. How would you say then, do you want to go out today? Do you want to leave today?
Quero sair hoje.
Quer sair hoje?
Now, as I said before, that são ending is always stressed in Portuguese. So try this one, impression. And even though it's not a T-I-O-N ending, it still goes to são. So double S-I-O-N also goes to são. Impression.
Impressão.
So how would you say, what impression do you have of the situation?
Que impressão tem para
Of the, not for the, of the. How did you say, I need it, I need of it? I precise of it.
preciso.
Right, and of it? It was dela. Preciso dela. De is of. The. So let's go back to what impression do you have of the situation?
Que impressão tem
Of the. So of is de.
dele situação.
Dele means of it.
Dela situação.
Dilla also means of it, but it when you're referring to a feminine thing. So how do we say the situation?
A.
Right. And of the?
Da.
Right. Except we don't stress it, so it's the. So of the situation?
Da situação.
Right. So what impression do you have of the situation?
Que impressão tem da situação.
Right.
Que impressão tem da situação?
How did we say like this or that way?
Assim.
Assim.
And that's spelled A-S-S-I-M. And the M gives it the nasal sound. Assim. Now the word for here is aqui. A-Q-U-I. So let's hear both of those, like this and here.
Assim. Aqui.
So is aqui nasal or not?
No.
It's not nasal, right. Now aqui spelled A-Q-U-I. Before I told you that words that end in a vowel in Portuguese are stressed on the syllable before last. But aqui is stressed on the last syllable and it ends in a vowel. So there are actually two vowels that cause the stress to fall on the last syllable. And I is one of them. The other is you. So you can think of I and you as being very strong. They're very strong vowels. So a word in Portuguese that ends in an I or a U or has an I or a U in the last syllable will be stressed on that syllable. And that's why assim is stressed on the last syllable. It's got an I in the last syllable. Aqui, the I is the last letter. So they're stressed on the last syllable. What other type of word did I say was also stressed on the last syllable?
The possíveis and
Possível, is that stressed on the last syllable? Possível?
no, it's an ultimate syllable,
Right,
isn't it?
okay.
Was it the infinitive?
Yes, the to form of the verb ending in R. For example, saber, to know. Or another one, to eat.
Comer.
Good. So we've now got a couple of rules about words that are stressed on the last syllable. If they end in an I or a U, or if they've got an I or a U in the last syllable, or if they end in an R. Now, words ending in L are also stressed on the last syllable. Do you know how to say Portugal in Portuguese?
Portugal.
It's stressed on the last syllable.
Portugal.
Excellent. Portugal.
Portugal.
How do you say Brazil in Portuguese?
Brazil.
Brasil.
What's the name of the capital of the island of Madeira? Do you know that? Okay, that's Funchal, Funchal, and again that's stressed on the last syllable. And do you know what the Portuguese is for the name Michael?
Is it Miguel?
It is. It's exactly Miguel. So there we are. We've got all these words that end in L and that are stressed on the last syllable. So if we could have those all again. Portugal, Brazil, Funchal and Michael in Portuguese.
Portugal. Brasil. Funchal. Miguel.
So we've now got a rule. If words end in an I or a U, or if they've got an I or a U in the last syllable, or if they end in an L or an R, they're stressed on that last syllable. And I call this the I rule. I-R-U-L. So if it ends in an I, a U, an R or an L, it's going to be stressed on the last syllable. And any word in Portuguese that's stressed in defiance of that rule, in defiance of the I rule, will have an accent written over that syllable to show you where it's accented in defiance of the I rule. So, how do you say possible in Portuguese?
Possível.
What does it end with?
L.
Where should it be stressed? According to the I rule, where should it be stressed?
Well, you've got an L on the end, so...
So it should be stressed on the last syllable, but we don't say possível, we say possível. So, how do you spell possível to show that it's accented in defiance of the I rule?
You have an accent over the I.
You do exactly have an accent over the I. And it's spelt P-O-S-S, I with an accent V-E-L, possível. Because if it only had one S, it would be possível, like posição. So how do you spell, by the same token, how do you spell the word for probable? What is the word for probable?
Provável.
Right. How do you spell it?
P-R-O-B-A accent V-E-L.
Yes, P-R-O-V-A, provável. I think I heard you say a B. Provável. Yes, exactly, because it's stressed in defiance of the I rule, so we put a written accent over the A to show that it's provável and not provável. There are some more spelling rules coming up, but this is the I rule. How did we say to see?
Ver.
Good. And to know?
Saber.
Should we have those?
Ver. Saber.
Is it ver or ver?
Ver.
How would you say, I want to know it?
Quero sabê-lo.
Quero sabê-lo.
How would you say, I want to see it?
Quero verlo. Vero.
No, it's the L. The R drops and is replaced by an L.
So quero verlo.
Quero vê-lo.
How would you say to see it if the it that you're referring to is feminine?
Vela.
Vela. Right, so we've got two words for to see it, velo and vela. To make the it plural, you add an S to it. So how did we say it?
U.
Right, so how would you say them?
Us.
Ush.
Ush.
Okay. And how do you say it when you're referring to a feminine thing like the translation?
A.
And if there were several of them?
Ash.
Good. So how would you say, I want to see them, referring to a group of masculine things?
Quero ver-os. Ver-os.
The R drops and is replaced by an L.
Quero vê-los.
Quero vê-los.
And if you were referring to a group of feminine things?
Quero velas.
Vê-las. Quero vê-las.
How did we say you to a man?
O senhor.
So how would you say, I want to see you, referring to a man?
Quero ver o senhor.
Yeah, or you can replace o senhor by a pronoun, o.
Quero ver-o.
Again?
Quero vê-lo.
Good.
Quero vê-lo.
And how would you say, I want to see you, in the same form, but referring to a woman?
Quero vê-la.
Quero vê-la.
What was for me?
Para mim.
Right. Now, to see me is a different me, because me in for me was me, M-I-M. But to see me is me, M-E. So to see me is ver-me.
Ver-me.
So how would you say, do you want to see me tonight?
Quer ver-me esta noite.
Okay. And can we have ver-me?
Quer ver-me esta noite.
And it's a question.
Quer ver-me esta noite.
Quer ver-me esta noite?
So how do you say to see me?
Ver-me.
Ver-me.
The Portuguese for to understand is the same as the word to comprehend. Compreender. Compreender. So it's comprehend but without the H and then an ER ending. Compreender.
Compreender.
So how would you say to understand you, talking to a man, but without using o senhor?
Compreendê-lo.
Compreendê-lo.
And how would you say to understand me?
Compreenderme.
Compreender-me.
To say is dizer. Dizer. D-I-Z-E-R. Dizer. And it comes from the same root as the word like diction. Diction is how you say something. A dictionary is where you look up what you say. Dizer. So how would you say to say it?
Dizer-lo.
Dizê-lo.
So what was to see you, talking to o senhor, but without using o senhor? To see you.
Ver-lo.
Right, vê-lo. Now that you, vê-lo, in to see you, is a different sort of you from the you that we would use in to tell you or to say to you, because in to tell you or to say to you, it's to you. And in Portuguese, that's a different sort of you from you as in to see you. And the you that means to you, to tell to you, is lhe. L-H-E. Again, the H is having the effect of making a sort of y sound. So NH makes ny, I can tenho. LH makes lhe. So we've got this word lhe, to you. So how would you say to tell you?
Dizer-lhe.
Dizer-lhe. So it's not dizer-lhe, it's L-H-E.
Dizer-lhe.
Good.
Dizer-lhe.
So how do you say to tell you?
Dizer-lhe.
Because literally it means
To tell to you.
Right, okay. But to tell me, it's the same me, as in to see me. So ver-me, but dizer-me, it's the same me. Now, the polite request, will you tell me? What should that be following this pattern? What was to tell me?
Dizer-lhe.
To tell me.
Oh, sorry. Dizer-me.
So, following that pattern, how would we render the polite request, will you tell me?
Pode dizer-me.
Right, now that's a way of saying it. But because it's said very, very often, will you please tell me, will you tell me? Actually, what you say in Portuguese is pode me dizer. Pode dizer-me is used, but pode me dizer is much more common.
Pode dizer-me? Pode me dizer?
So how would you say, will you tell me why you can't do it?
Poder-me dizer.
It's not poder. How do you say you,
Pode-me dizer.
why you can't do it?
Porque
You can't do it,
não
right?
fazer.
And what's happened to the you can't? Or rather the you can, because you've already said not now. Okay, let's go back a bit. So we had, will you tell me, pode-me
Pode-me
dizer,
dizer.
why
Porque.
why, yes, porque you can't do it. So you can't is,
Não
that's the not bit. Now we need the verb, can. You can.
fazer.
That's to do. We need the can. You can. You just said, will you tell me? Can you tell me?
Pode.
That's right. So, will you tell me, pode-me dizer, why,
Porque.
porque you can't do it. So, you
Não pode
do it.
fazê-lo.
Right. Pode-me dizer porque não pode fazê-lo.
Pode-me dizer porque não pode fazê-lo.
Should we break that down? Pode-me dizer. So what does that mean?
Can you tell me
Porque
why
não pode.
not able?
Yeah, and who? Which person are we talking about here?
You are not able
Fazê-lo.
to do it.